This video is me explaining functions for question 4. So for question 4a, I created a new function called input swimmers, and this function inputs swimmers names and returns it as a list. So I created an empty list called swimmers, and then for I in range 1 to 6, which is for swimmer 1 to 5, users have to input the name of the 5 swimmers. I then put the name of the 5 swimmers and the position of the swimmers into the empty list swimmers, and I return the swimmers list. And for part B, I created a function called input timing swimmers, and this function inputs swimmers timings and returns it as a list. So I created a timings which is an empty list, and I loop 5 times, and in the loop I create a while true loop, which is a repeating loop, and then I created a try and except function which tests for error and handle the error. And then the user has to input the timings of the 5 swimmers, and then I put the timings of the 5 swimmers into the empty list timings, and I also put the position of the swimmers inside, and then I break the while true loop. However, if users put anything other than integers for the timings, I will have to handle the error with except and print out timing can only be integers, please try again, and the whole loop will repeat. And then I return timings list. And for part C, I created print results swimmers timings, whereby swimmers and timings are the parameters of print results. This function prints a summary for swimmers and timings. So for 0 to 5, which is loop 5 times, I print a summary of swimmers results with both swimmers names and their timings with proper formatting, which means timings has 18 spaces away from the start of the line, which makes the summary look cleaner. And then I print the fastest timing, and I use min function to find the fastest timing. And for part D, I created a function called print results 2 with swimmers and timings as the parameter. So this function sorts and prints the summary of the swimmers results in ascending order of the timings. So I use bubble sort, which is outer loop start from the size of the timings and swimmers list and decrement down 1, and then traverse the array from 0 to 1 to I minus 1 increment up 1, and compare adjacent elements from timings list is to find out if left element is greater than right element. So if the left element is greater than right element, I will swap the adjacent elements from timings list. Same goes to swimmers, so I will swap adjacent elements from swimmers list if left adjacent element from timings list is bigger than right adjacent elements from timings list. And then I will loop 5 times and print the summary of the new sorted swimmers and timings. And for part E, I created a main function to test which has a menu that inputs choice of the different functions and tests the functions created from A to D and executes them. So inside the main function, I created a while true loop to repeat the choice input. So I created a choice and an input, which is the input, and then created a menu function, and then I added a spacing. And then if choice equals to 1, which is add swimmers, I will test for error, and then I will execute the input swimmers and add swimmers into new list called sorted swimmers for print results too. I will explain that later. And then if there is an error, I will print make sure to run functions in A to D first, and I will break. This is because some users forget to run the functions above first before doing the main function. So after that, if choice is 2, which is add timings, I will execute input timings and add timings into a new list called sorted timings for print results too, which I will explain later. And if there's an error, I will print please add swimmer's name first, and if swimmer's name is already added, make sure to run function in B. So for choice 3, which is print, I will execute print results swimmers and timings, and if there's an error, I will print please add swimmers and names and timings first, and if so already added, then make sure to run function in C. And for choice 4, which is print 2, I will execute the print results 2 and add the new list sorted swimmers and sorted timings created above as parameters, because I do not want print results 2 to affect print results. And then if there is an error, I will print please add swimmers names and timings first, but if they are already added, please make sure to run the function in D. And in choice 5 means quit the program, so I'll print out end of the program and break the while loop. And if users do not select 1 2 3 4 or 5, I will warn users and print you must only select either 1 2 3 4 or 5, and I'll print please try again, and the loop will repeat. And then for main, I'll execute the main function. This is an example of my output for my main function. So I got a menu, and choice 1, enter names of lane 1 to 5 swimmers. Choice 2, enter timing for the swimmers. And choice 3, it will have a summary with the names and the timings and the fastest timings. And choice 4 will be a sorted from ascending order for both names and timings. And choice 5 is end of the program. Thank you very much.